Hawk Talk last night, but do you have an update on all your injured guys and kind of where they stand headed into this stretch?
Yeah, Cam's out. He'll be out for hopefully only about another week or so. Kyle's out for till probably closer to the end of January before he can get back on the court. And then Kevin is day to day, and we'll know more today. And then Bobby more than likely is going to be out until later on, maybe this week and maybe first of next week. We're hopeful. So we'll know more after practice today, because I haven't seen him since Tuesday, or since Monday, excuse me. But that's pretty much where Bill let me believe it was.
When you look at this stretch with Seton Hall, Missouri, Indiana,
Yeah.
and you just talked about that stretch with NC State, Wisconsin, and Tennessee, what'd you get out of that one that makes you think you guys are ready for this same type of stretch with those types of teams?
I haven't thought about it like that. This is different because there's a lot of practice time between, and those weren't not. Like we could have played Wisconsin better if we had time to prep for them. They could have played us better probably if they had time to prep for us. And same way with all the teams in that deal. So this will be a situation where you have a little bit more time. Don't really have much time with Seton Hall because we played Monday and off yesterday, so we only get 1 day prep for them. And that's really not enough because they play a lot of guys and they do a lot of different things offensively. But it'll be a good test for us. Our non-conference strength of schedule, I don't know what it is, but it's got to be up there pretty high nationally.
How much does it slow the progress or development when you have guys like Kevin and Bobby out?
I don't know that it slows it as much with Kevin out as much as it does Bobby, because we need Bobby to be in the game if Juan's not in the game. So that probably hurts us as much as anything. But the one that really hurts, and of course everybody goes through injuries, but the one that hurts the most is, our MJ and guys that Bobby, the guys that need the reps in order to be able to be comfortable enough to contribute, and they're not getting them, and then you come back and then you're just not prepared when you are. I don't know how it is with football, but it seems like to me it'd be very similar. But there's certain positions in football and basketball that's probably easier to come back from an injury from a tactical standpoint, and there's some positions that a quarterback or something like that'd be much more difficult to come back unless you get reps. So we're fine, but we're not close to being as whole as we will be probably in about 10 days.
I know it doesn't matter for this week, but with regard to that, somebody spelling Juan, I mean, is Kevin an option at the point?
He is an option if he's played.
Yeah, right.
If he doesn't play, then he's not an option. Then I don't know who it'll be. I guess it could be Joe, but that's not what Joe's done. We haven't practiced him there at all. Maybe Jay will bring it up, but yeah, it could be a makeshift lineup for the most part. And people say, "Well, get somebody ready." Well, we're going to have exactly 90 minutes to get ready. We've got a 90-minute practice, all we've had since the Bahamas to get ready for this, because we didn't practice before Texas Southern. We just played game day and didn't practice yesterday. So, we need to get on the practice court.
What do you do with that then? I mean, do you just say, we got to execute, we got to do what we do, or do
we won't run plays. I mean, I hate to give away our scout, but if you don't have guys that know the plays from the positions they've never practiced, probably won't run plays, probably just play.
Right.
So, but hopefully just play is it's been a better offense for us a lot this year than it has been actually running sets.
When Cam returns, is he going to be full go 100%, or do you still have to ramp him up to what you want at that point?
Well, when you say full go, he's not going to be ready to step in and play a lot, but he's not going to be held back from a physical limitation standpoint. That's so when I think of full go, that's what I think of. Is there anything physically that will hold him back? And the answer should be no, unless he has a setback. But that doesn't mean he's ready to step in and play. He'll have no rhythm and all that stuff, and conditioning will be poor, even though he's working hard at it. It's still a lot different once, to be in game type shape.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what has he been doing, and what has he been able to do, or been around the team?
Yeah, he does individual workouts. He does the running. He's done a ton of shooting. He's played one-on-one yesterday, so there's some contact and things like that. But he hasn't been in a situation where he can get his arm caught or have somebody accidentally hook him or anything like that, where it could potentially throw it back out of place.
Bill, assuming that MJ stays healthy, he can, get reps. Can you just talk about his significance as a player moving forward this season and if he's around in the next couple of seasons?
Well, Dave, he shows flashes. I think that he's going to be a really nice player, a really good player this year. And when he's thinking, he's not as effective. When he's playing, he's actually darn good. And the second half the other night, he just played. So we've got to get him where he's to the point where he's just playing and doing the simple things that we want him to do while he's playing. And he does that, I'll get confidence in him. He'll get confidence in himself, and he can be an impact guy. Even if he's not a starter, he's a guy that can give you 8 to 10 points a game off the bench, and that's pretty good production for a bench guy. And if we had he and Joe both coming off the bench, I think that would be a pretty good bonus for us to have somebody can come in and get us production. Because when you look at it right now, the only production we've gotten from our bench at all so far would be Joe in 2 games. There's been nothing else. No bigs, no Bobby early in the season in a game or 2, and then but most of his scoring was in tight. We need to have somebody who's capable of making some shots, and those 2 give us the best chance off the bench.
What does Seton Hall look like, and are they St. Peter's from last year with Holloway there? I mean, do they play similar?
I don't know. I didn't study St. Peter's last year. I would have if they were in our bracket, but obviously a storybook run, one of the most talked about runs ever. As far as a team, unexpected team doing so well, and I think that team and Shaheen has brought their personality to Seton Hall. I think they play with the chip. I think they play extremely hard. Other schools have told us, coaches that we've talked to, saying don't underestimate how hard they play. And I'm sure that's a reflection of him in many ways. He's got a transfer with him that obviously has that same type of mindset, I'm sure. So they're good. Their record isn't as good as what you think. They've lost a couple of close games, but they're capable of really giving us a lot of problems because they post their guards. They do some things that we haven't really been great at guarding yet, i.e. Tennessee and Wisconsin, and their length can give you a lot of problems defensively. So, he's got a good team, and he's going to play 10 or 11 guys.
I also wanted to ask you about John Hadel and some of your memories of Hadel. I'm sure you have a million.
Yeah, we got word this morning that we lost John this morning, and I don't want to speak for others. Dave has probably been around him even more than I have over time, but I don't know of anybody that was more Jayhawk or loved Kansas more than John Hadel. He gave himself as he grew up in Lawrence, so you knew he loved KU growing up. He came here as a student athlete, had unbelievable success, unbelievable pro career, and then as soon as he gets out of the pro career, he wants to come back and get back to the school as a coach, as a fundraiser, and has been tied to the athletic department at KU, Dave, if I'm not mistaken, since he retired from professional football basically every year. Isn't that right?
Yeah, he started out as a coach, even early on. Then he was a coordinator for Fambro and took us to a bowl game before he left.
Yeah, amazing run. And the thing about it is, the coolest dude that would never talk about how cool he was. He was cool because he never had to talk about himself or boast about himself and what he accomplished. I mean, the dude threw for like 40,000 yards in you know, NFL, AFL, whatever it was. Guys are getting in the Hall of Fame without stats like what he's got, and he probably had more stories about hanging out with you know, Lance Rensel and Joe Namath and guys like that anybody could ever have. Roman Gabriel and all those guys. I mean, he was a big guy, big daddy, and then but he always made it about others. I love that, and he loved KU, and you know, he hasn't been healthy for quite some time now, and he's had about the last 5 or 6 years. He hasn't been able to have the same impact on us and others as what we're used to, because, you know, a bad fall where he hurt himself and things like that. But yeah, amazing guy. He'll be missed, and he's one like Max. There should be a memory of him, not just for football, but for everything going on with KU from this point forward.
Would you say this is an important stretch for your team? I know it's still kind of early in the season, right? We have Mizzou coming up in Indiana, obviously Seton Hall. Would you say this is an important stretch for your team? You know, obviously when conference play comes up here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think for a lot of reasons. I think one, it's got some practice time, we can get better. Two, practices are a lot better if you win than if you don't win. You know, it's hard to go into a conference season with momentum unless you play well in the non-conference, and we only have 4 more opportunities non-conference before conference play begins. So yeah, this is a big stretch. It's a big stretch for all teams in our league, but certainly it is for us.
Anything else for Coach?
Okay, guys.